Let's begin with political stories. The All Progressives Congress finally has now its National Working Committee in place after a successful conduct or its elective convention rather. While it was a fulfilling moment for the newly elected members and their supporters, other disgruntled contestants thought otherwise. But personal interest had to be set aside for the good of the party. Our correspondent Jesse Adoye has more on this story.
It has been an eventful two-day exercise at the Eagle Square in Abuja as the All Progressives Congress draws a curtain on its 2022 elective national convention. It appears this Congress met the expectation of party faithful who shamed cynics. Now they hope the outcome of the convention will make the APC stronger and more united.
This is the beginning of a good thing to come for the party and for the country as a whole. You can imagine the beginning of the convention. You can follow up the trajectories of various interests. You can see how it's come to be peaceful at the end of the day. That shows APC has come to stay.
You could say the way the convention has gone, it's been very peaceful, contrary to what people were expecting. The security people have done wonderfully well.
I foresee a new APC. We have seen some of the mistakes, and we have people that are already there with experience coming on board, of course, to correct some of the mistakes that we also have.
Although other contestants are not too excited as they had their ego bruised, but they still managed to set aside their personal interest for the overall good of the party.
I'm not happy, but our leaders have said we should let go, and we are willing because all we want is a better country, not of ourselves. Zoning is something that I feel with time we should get rid of because it's stopping us from getting the right quality of people to occupy positions. It's natural with politics. There have never been an election that goes unchallenged. But at the end of the day, we'll come out victorious, very strong as members of one family.
Everybody at some point needs to be carried along, especially when we're getting close to the real event. And that's what has happened, right? He has identified critical stakeholders that needs to be on board, that needs to be on the same page, as it were, with him.
The coming days hold a lot to prove if indeed this convention will strengthen the APC after the contentious road to electing new officers. The attention now shifts to the presidential primaries as the APC also sets its gaze on winning the 2023 general elections. Jesse Adoye, TVC News.
The All Progressives Congress convention ended with overwhelming success, but not without sparking some concern on its impact on the Abuja environment. Our correspondent Mayor Thomas reports on this.
APC had over 7,000 delegates. Several party faithful and supporters all converged on the National Convention ground at the Eagle Square in Abuja. This influx of people without adequate arrangement meant some disruptions to the quiet city's daily lives. It meant facilities were overstretched from the Eagle Square Arena itself, which has a capacity of about 4,000, but took over 7,000 delegates and other party supporters. The public toilet facilities were inadequate, even with the provision of mobile toilets to support. Every corner, wall of flower became a sport to answer the call of nature.
I think I've been holding myself. If I come to a place like this, it's very hard for me to ease myself. So I just remain calm. But before I came here, I had to really arrange myself before coming because I wouldn't use the public toilet. You know how it is now.
Even now, if I even go and ease myself at back of one motorcycle there, then I'm now going in again.
While these vendors are happy at an opportunity to sell their wares, not much care is given to the litter generated all over the nation's capital. Another concern was the posters pasted in all corners by supporters without removal planned.
Yeah, I think the federal government should take care of that because we have a disposal company who will come and just pack the stuff up the street.
Crowd control also posed a major challenge to the thousands of security personnel deployed to the venue. Police personnel had to shoot tear gas into the air to disperse the crowd, in the process causing another medical emergency. security personnel freely using their batons on recalcitrant party supporters, trying by all means to gain access to the grounds, were caught on camera. The Eagle Square and surrounding streets the morning after the convention was an eyesore. Empty bottles, papers, cans, plastic bags, and other environmental toxic waste littered everywhere. The streets reeking of urine and the stench of human feces. Despite the city's cleaning exercise starting early the next morning, heaps of refuse generated by the convention still mounted the Eagle Square. For Abuja, a city already battling inordinate disposal of refuse, the need for a better management cannot be more glaring, especially as Nigeria is hoping to remain on the course towards meeting the Sustainable Development Goals. As Nigeria evolves, it is time to start to think of a better way to organize and manage events of this magnitude in a sustainable manner that is protective of the environment and its people. Moya Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, President Muhammad Buhari has congratulated the Abdullahi Adamu-led Member National Executive Committee. The president says the unity of members put on display has aligned the party on a firmer footing for victory in the 2023 general election. The president returned to the convention ground at the Eagle Square Sunday morning, along with the vice president and senate president, to witness and celebrate the inauguration of the elected party executives. Remarked that the smooth conduct of the election raises the prospect of a mouth-watering APC victory next year. President Buhari, in a statement by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, said with the National Convention now out of the way, the stage is set for the APC primaries later in the year, where the party's new flag bearers will emerge. Let's talk more on these. I've got joining me in the studio. To talk about the outcome of the APC convention is a public affairs analyst, Muyiwa Ogunlaja. Thank you so much for being here on TVC Media News. Well, so before, in the build-up to the convention, a lot of people thought, because if you check what happened, looking at the ousting of chairman here and there, the forth and back, a lot of people thought it may not go down well. But the outcome is, is what we actually saw. So, what has been your observation of the aftermath of this convention?
Thank you. The convention, which was the climax of the world's local government and state congresses, came up as planned. But before, the people have been expressing a topsy-turvy convention, where chairs will roll, where heads will be broken, where minds will be used at will. Unfortunately, this did not come to fruition. How? Because much as disturbed or as disorganized APC seems to be, the party is about the base in terms of internal politics and internal discipline. But for internal discipline, those 6 contestants would not have agreed to step down. But for internal discipline, the entire 7,000 over delegates would not have agreed to just come to Abuja to just to say a yes or a no. But for internal discipline, those agreed members would not have succumbed to the piece of advice of their leaders by saying that they should allow peace to reign and let bygones be bygones. So I want to give it to the party that they have demonstrated the fact that internal discipline is prevalent in the party, and that party supremacy cuts across board. That's not to say that it was a fantastic or no, but all and good, the method that it came out successful without any bickering, remarkable bickering in a way, and I said that the party has succeeded. And I think kudos should be given to those members of the extraordinary convention committee.
If you say this bickering is not, let me use another word, significant enough as to disrupt the process of the convention. Someone actually came out saying that he spent as much as 300 million naira, buying form, campaigning here and there. He's been there many months before the convention. Do you think that kind of a person would not be aggrieved even though he has not gone to the media?
Thank you. If you're a keen observer, as soon as the elections nominations were over, the president did say all those who had bought forms and were not solicited, that should have their money refunded. I want to say that this olive branch will be extended to this kind of candidates. If they could step down, not because they wanted to, but because in obedience of party discipline, definitely what they have spent must be refunded.
You think they've not grudgingly stepped down?
They have nobody will step down willingly.
Right.
There's nobody who will run away from victory. Who will not want to be famous? I have not seen that person positively famous anyway. But the question is that when the party says this, and you dare go outside, who will give you the votes when the time comes? How will look at how to support? What should be your standing when you are against the party?
Okay, very quickly. Since we realize that consensus has really come to stay, especially in the inner politics of the APC.
Yes.
Now the president, sailing through using the consensus candidates, bringing out Adamu. Do you not think that this might also be the same mode that will be adopted for the primary elections, for presidential election?
The Yoruba say morning shows indicates the night. Definitely the day. Definitely that will be. No party want to go through the tumultuous exercise of canvassing for election, casting votes, and counting. If it happens, that party will likely be upside down.
So where is the place of democracy if they don't allow people to vote?
Part of democracy is consensus. That's what we don't understand. Actually, the mother of democracy is consensus. I used to say, let us adopt this. The moment you have decided to submit your personal whims and caprices to that of the general good, then you are a Democrat. If you are not a Democrat, you will not want to take it. So it's part of democracy. The only problem I have is that they should not have allowed these people to waste their hard-earned resources and risk their life coming to Abuja. You can do consensus even online, and there will be no need for all the problems we have in Abuja now. And
very, very briefly, you're not concerned with the fact that the crop of NWC officials that we have now are main people from the PDP, whose party said, took Nigeria to where we are today.
My dear, what is the difference between 6 and 7? I have never believed that the parties are not the same. Their fingers are the same leprous hand, and. Definitely, you have APC in PDP and you have PDP in APC.
But you're hopeful.
But more importantly, we are all Nigerians.
And you're hopeful at the end of the day that
definitely,
we'll get somewhere.
Because mind the politics, there are no permanent enemies. We only have permanent interest. I can be in party A today and be the champion of party B tomorrow, depending on where my interest lies.
All right, we'll continue to monitor these events politically as they unfold, and we keep talking about them and see how they actually pan out at the end of the day. Yes, Public Affairs Analyst Muyiwa Ogunlaja, thank you so much for
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
Still talking politics, stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party from the Southeast are demanding the zoning of the 2023 presidential ticket to the southern part of the country. This was part of the resolutions reached at the end of their zonal meeting held in Enugu. Our correspondent Bamidele Ajayi has more on the story.
Arriving in Enugu, the Southeast capital, are PDP stakeholders from the 5 Southeast states. The purpose of the meeting is simple: making public their position on the 2023 general election. Without much ado, they went into a closed-door meeting. After about 3 hours, they emerged to make public their resolutions.
In today's meeting, we unanimously resolved and agreed that the zoning of the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2023 should be zoned to the southern part of Nigeria.
The group stood its ground on the issue of zoning in the state and constituency and resolved it must be strictly adhered to in all the states in the region.
Where there are zoning patterns, they must be strictly observed and adhered to.
Earlier, at another news conference, a pan-Igbo sociocultural group is more specific in their demand for the Southeast to produce the next president. They went further to urge all registered political parties in Nigeria to zone their tickets to the Southeast.
Ought to follow its constitution and zone its presidential ticket to the Southeast as a recognition that it is the only part of the South that has not held presidential power since 1999.
Issue of total exclusion in the political climate, where since the inception of the 1999 Constitution as amended, even if you take it back to the 1970 as a benchmark, where the leader of the government, or even the head of state, or even the president has not come from the Southeast.
The 18 registered political parties were taken to court to enforce zoning of presidential tickets by all the political parties to the southeast.
The request for Southeast to produce the next Nigeria president is gaining momentum to compensate a zone that has not produced a president since the end of the Civil War in 1970. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Enugu.
Now to judicial matters, Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has refused bail to the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari. The court held that the NDLEA has placed sufficient evidence before it, enough for it to refuse bail. The NDLEA, in its counter-affidavit to Mr. Kyari's bail application, held that it's inappropriate to grant bail to the applicant because of the facts and the circumstances of the case. The applicant is already facing extradition on charges of wire fraud. The second applicant, who is an assistant superintendent of police, is under investigation for money laundering and may face charges on same. The court also ruled that the medical challenges of the applicant is not beyond the capacity of the NDLEA, and the applicant is a flight risk and may jump bail. It's on these premises the court refused the bail application of the first and second applicant. The court also refused the bail application of the fourth and fifth applicants on grounds that the respondent has been able to establish criminal responsibility against them. The matter was adjourned till 27th of April for ruling. To other matters now, the Nigerian Navy says it has intercepted 2 more vessels for alleged involvement in illegal activities along the Bonny Waterways, River State. One of them was laden with more than 2 million liters of crude oil, suspected to have been stolen. Senior reporter Uche Okoro reports.
When Navy personnel on routine patrol arrested Empty Prayer, they discovered that its automatic identification system had been switched off for 2 weeks. The technology provides information such as a ship's unique identification, position, direction, and speed. This is what enables authorities to track and monitor its movements. With the device turned off, Empty Prayer was at liberty to navigate the maritime space undetected, an action that the Navy describes as a serious breach of the law. The 14 crew members now have to account for the source of the 2.5 million liters of crude oil and another 10,000 liters of diesel found in the service tanks.
Her automatic identification system, based on Regional Maritime Awareness Capability Center information, was confirmed to have been switched off for about 8 days from 29th December 2021. The base has been directed by the Naval headquarters to hand over the vessel to the Economic and Financial Crime Commission for further investigation and possible prosecution.
Upon this taking over ceremony, we will subject the vessel in question and the crew members to thorough investigation and ensure that everyone involved is prosecuted.
Empty Sibo also disabled its automatic identification system and went off the radar for 3 months. The Navy eventually tracked it down to the Bonny Channel. So far, vessels operating undetected in Nigerian waters remain a major setback to maritime law enforcement efforts, especially those targeted at curbing economic sabotage.
The vessel later switched off her automatic identification system until 19th February 2022. Consequent upon the foregoing, the vessel was arrested for automatic identification system infractions as well as expired NIMASA certificate.
This vessel was handed over to the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency for appropriate sanctions after failing to provide valid documentation. Uche Okoro, TVC News.
And the Nigeria Police Kano Command has denied any involvement in a rumored nationwide strike by police officers in the country. The Kano Police Commissioner, Samaila Diko, disclosed this while addressing journalists in the state. Ibrahim Isa reports.
The Nigeria Police Mobile Force on parade to kickstart the daily security activities at the Mopol 9 headquarters in Kano. The police rank and file are reported to embark on an industrial action. The Kano State Police shunned the move following directives of the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Alibaba. Kano State Police Commissioner Samaila Duku reiterated that his command will not embark on a strike.
I have gone around within the metropolis and I have seen, yes, the policemen have turned up, they have come out for their duties, we have obeyed and respected the instruction of the Inspector General of Police. And you can see in Kano, we doesn't even have that intention. We are regimental force and we are obedient to our superiors and we respect our organization.
At various divisions, policemen embark on their daily activities. Some of the members of the police rank and file in Kano who spoke to TVC but want their identities hidden say they will not join any force to commit crime against the state.
It is a negative for a police officer to think of going for a strike because there is nothing like in the police. So I'm totally not in support of it.
Before I used to buy my clothing, the uniform I will wear, I will buy it. But now the IG has supplied it to us freely, and all of us have got it. So we are indeed happy that the IGP may be extended more years so that we will benefit from his experience and his helping hand.
The last time policemen embarked on an industrial action in Nigeria was in 2002 under the tenure of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. The industrial action led to the removal of the then Inspector General of Police, Musiliu Smith. The police in Kano say they will continue to be committed to their duties of protecting the state.
The Nigeria Police Force Kano Command says it would continue to serve the people for adequate protection of lives and property to be achieved. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News.